To do this, to connect to the subtle energies, we must first have done a lot of internal work on our subconscious mind. If we listen to our monkey mind and it's rattling on and there's lots of negativity in there, and we have lots of false beliefs, and it's telling us what we can do and we can't do, and we haven't embraced our shadows. And our shadows, when people talk about shadow work, they talk about all the negative aspects of ourselves. Now, shadows aren't the negative aspects of ourselves. Our shadows are the negative and positive aspects of ourselves that we deny. When you listen to many spiritual teachers and many gurus, etc., they will all tell you, you get to a stage where you awaken your inner guru. This means your inner guru is part of you. The problem is, due to societal programming, due to whatever reason, you have placed that part of you into the shadows. That is a positive aspect in you that has become a shadow. So when I say shadow work, it is embracing the positive and negative aspects that you do not fully embrace. So it's peeling back those layers, the subconscious layers of our programming, of our bias. The reason we must do this first is because the more we connect to the energies, the more the energies are going to release and start to rise, which is going to create this uncertainty. And when our ego, which our ego is there to protect us, our ego is nothing bad. Our ego is there to protect us. And when this energy rises and creates uncertainty, our ego is going to come along and say, hey, this is something different. This is something new. I don't think I like this. Let's try and shut it down. That's where the problems come. We're not talking about Kundalini Awakening here. This is where the problems come of the first steps of de-armoring, of awakening our internal systems. So once we've done that, how do we connect to our subtle energies? Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying you have to do all your shadow work and you have to do 30 years of shadow work before you can start connecting to your energies. You can be doing these two things simultaneously. Why? Because by connecting to the subtle energies, to the subtle flows within our body, they are going to actually help us if we are doing them simultaneously with embracing our shadows, of releasing our blocks and our biases. It will help us. So we can do these two things simultaneously. But how do we connect to our subtle energies? It's very, very simply explained. Another thing is to actually feel it. And then another thing still is to recognize and admit we're actually feeling it, because our programming will tell us this is not real. This is false, this is fake, this is nonsense, this is... Hence a little bit of shadow work beforehand is always good. But to simply state how to feel the subtle energies within ourselves, we have to turn off all our devices, off all our entertainment, off all the stuff that just distracts us from true reality, not the reality we create. And this isn't about meditation. This isn't about focusing on nothing. If anything, it's the opposite of that. It is focusing on the subtle energy. It's focusing on something very definite, something very concrete within us. And so we just turn our mind inwards and we start to listen. And by listen, I mean feel. I don't mean visualize. We're not trying to create images of anything. We're trying to feel. We can feel, first of all, aches and pains in our physical body. We can feel our breath. If you've had a heavy meal, you might even start to feel your digestive system. But then we go deeper inwards, beyond the physical layer, deeper in, more subtle. And we'll start to be able to feel tingles, bubbling, vibrations, heat, coolness. It comes to different people in different ways. And we're not trying to do anything here. This is Wu Wei, this is effortless action. We are just placing our awareness internally. We can place our awareness internally, generally over the entire body. We can place our awareness perhaps on the mind's eye, the pineal gland. We can place our awareness quite easily on the heart. One slightly more tricky, we can place our awareness on our lower energy center, which many people will confuse with the sacral chakra, the second chakra. These three places I mention are called the Dantians, the energy centers. And just as the pineal is in the center of our brain, the heart is in the center of our chest, the lower energy center is in the center of our lower body. Where exactly? 2 fingers below the belly button, slap bang in the center of the body. We can focus our attention on our skin. We can focus our attention not just on our skin, but there is like a layer, the etheric body, which is both inside the skin and outside the skin. So inside our body and outside. And we can feel this, and we can focus our attention. We can place our hands. And we can feel the flow. Most people will feel this flow first in our fingers. And perhaps from finger to finger. It's very subtle, it's very slight. Tingling. Or a magnetic feeling. When we get that one, we can then bring the attention to the middle of our palms, the Laogong. And that over time will activate as we focus on it. And we'll know when it activates. Because just like what people talk about, when Shakti rises in the spine, great heat is released. And this happens with any major meridian point. The Laogong is a major meridian point. The Laogong in your foot is a major meridian point. When this activates, you will find in the center of your hand this intense heat almost a burning sensation as that connects. The hands is a very easy place to start feeling this. So just to review, shadow work, releasing our beliefs, our biases, moving inwards to the whole body, to the skin, to the hands, to one of the energy centers. Not trying to do anything. So with the hands, we're not trying to force the feeling. We are just placing our attention there and waiting until we start to notice something going on. If we start with our fingers, then we move to our Laogong. If we move to that connection, then we can move to the lower Dantian. We can move to the heart. We can move to the head. We can feel the flow through our whole body. This is not Kundalini. This is Chi. This is Prana. This is universal life force. We can then focus on the connection between our heart and our genitals. This will stimulate the essence, the Jing, the sacred sexual energy. We can get that flowing. It tends to flow up the front of the body, but it can also flow in the spine. Again, not Kundalini. It's just the spine is a huge channel where energy can flow. Many people confuse prana or sacred sexual energy or Jing flowing through the spine as Kundalini energy. This is not Kundalini energy. It's just different frequencies of energy flowing through the spine. And we can just sit and we can just keep our awareness there. And the more we keep our awareness there, the more we attune, almost like the old car radios where we can turn the dial just slightly and we get more and more and more in tune with this and more flowing. That is the first way to start a spiritual awakening path, to start going down the path of a Kundalini awakening. My previous video, that if you're interested, go to my channel, go to my videos, look for the video before this one where I talk about these things, about a Kundalini awakening, about spiritual awakening. If you're looking for that video, you can look for the thumbnail. I purposefully worn the same t-shirt for that video and this video. So you can look for the video with the thumbnail where I'm wearing the same t-shirt as I'm wearing today. And you can watch that, which will talk about the full steps all the way through. You can do these things completely by yourself. Doing these things completely by yourself will take time. You can use a spiritual teacher, spiritual guide to help you through these things. I help people through this path. You can go to theawakenenergy.com. You can take one of my trainings. I have 3 different setups for you depending on the type of person you are and how you like to learn. Now, please share this video with anyone who you think will find this useful. And I'll see you in another video.